And there it is. We are back. Again, do not adjust your screen. This is becoming a regular Tuesday thing. Lori is here, and she is adorned in her Heat jersey. I have always said, and the boys
Heat Shack jersey, if I believe is correct. Is that right?
Actually, I have to turn around and show you.
Yeah, no, I got it. Oh, it's your jersey.
I will say this, and I've said it to the boys. The minute you catch me in a jersey, shoot me and bury me. I just don't wear jerseys on it.
This is the only jersey I have ever worn in my entire life.
To be fair, and this is one of those double standards, it's different for women. If you see a grown woman in a jersey, you don't have anywhere near the same thoughts as when you see a grown man in a jersey.
Yeah. Like I look at a grown man and I go, grow the fuck up.
With your name on the back too. And like, I'm sorry if anybody in the huddle has a jersey with your name on the back.
There's definitely an age limit. There's an age limit on that.
Right.
I don't get it.
There's an age limit.
But you got to experience a
Well,
fun game, and who would have thought?
Mike got this for me. He was like, well, what do you want on the back? Salarulo? I'm like, no. Like, I don't want Salarulo on the back. So anyway,
you got to see a great game.
Oh, it was the arena was going wild last night. It was amazing.
I love Christian Castellano's comment. She would have beat the Knicks too. And Jake and I got into this conversation, and we can have this conversation about organizations as well. But they're a professional basketball team. No, there's no professional coach that should have to get effort out of professional players. And it's just a bad look for the whole organization that Thibodeau is on the sideline begging his guys to play hard. And it's obvious that they have very little effort to give, and that's a shame.
Well, in the fourth quarter, I think the Heat again had 7 offensive rebounds. I was like, you're not going to win very many games.
Adebayo was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've never seen him play like that.
No, he never plays that way. So it was very cool to see. It's great to see the Heat winning. The Heat and the Panthers are both a game away from the Eastern Conference.
Both on Wednesday nights. We got them both at the same time on Wednesday. So we'll be double dipping. Should be fun. Thursday show, we can knock that around. But, Spoelstra, who, people don't realize, man, he's just amassing wins and wins and wins, could be the first coach to take an 8th seed to the conference finals.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Incredible. Incredible.
And I think it's going to be the first time in the history of sports that in the same city there are 2 8 seeds that advance to a conference final.
That would be correct, sir. Yeah. So lots of fun stuff. So we have a great day planned today. We're going to continue the conversation yesterday about the challenges facing CEOs and leaders. I actually took that content and had a conversation with Brendan Neef yesterday, who is the CEO of Victory. And he said, so what, he said to me, what do you want to talk about today? And I said, well, we have this really relevant dialogue going on. And boom, wouldn't you know, he was just shouting at the rafters at how great LinkedIn has been for him for recruiting. He said, if it wasn't for the strategy that you gave me, we would not be where we are. And so it was not meant for me to get flattered. It's just, these are issues that every leader is facing. And so
we didn't get a chance to dive into that yesterday, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
We're going to do straight away. Any other housekeeping? The live event, June 14th, filling up quickly. Make sure, please sign up.
Yeah, 2 things on that, right? Number 1, make sure you sign up. We're hoping to have 100 people there. We're approaching that number relatively quickly, so I would suggest you get on that list quickly. And the second thing is that we valued that ticket at $100. In order to get your discount and get it for free, you have to put in the Huddle promo code.
Yeah, so Jamie Tribble paid the $100.
Correct. Which look like, hey, you want to spend $100 to network and learn time management and be at the live event? We appreciate the spend, but we do want to offer that value back to you with the promo code.
And we will be talking time management, so if your excuse is I don't have time to come see you guys in person, we'll solve that problem for you. So hey, wake this shit up and we'll get into all of the fun stuff, because Lori talked about how there's different words used for female leaders versus male leaders. So that should be a really fun second half of the show. Let's go. Wake up, everybody. All right. Good morning, Jody Friedman. Welcome to the show. You and I need to catch up. I know we'll follow up on our dialogue. So, Lori, thanks for coming back, for spending the time.
Thank you.
Your calendar does allow it. Great job. So, Mark, let's steer where you want this conversation to go. You know, the sort of the 5 areas I talked about. It's not the only ones, but roll.
Well, we had talked about hiring a little bit, and we had talked about the challenges of meeting all of that. I do want to touch on the recruiting aspect of it, though. Like, how do you attract top talent, not just in the interview or the people who just happen to come in and fall into your pool, but how are you growing the awareness? How do you take responsibility for it? Whose responsibility, is it? Talk to us about actually building the awareness for the top talent.
So I think, first of all, it's a general awareness about the organization, right? So we post about culture, and we post about our people and our board members and our board retreat. So anyone on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram can see what JA South Florida is all about. So that's number one. I think so. So it's about building that general awareness around your company and your culture, more importantly.
Posting. She said posting. You have to be posting about it. Just because you do it doesn't mean anybody knows about it, right? And I think, and you touched on it yesterday, where everybody's a salesperson inside of the organization. Everybody's a brand ambassador. Everybody that is a part of JA, nobody goes to a JA event without posting about it. Every time that there is a JA event and I log into LinkedIn or log into any of my social channels, not only are you posting about it and Junior Achievement, but so is everybody else that was there. So I think that's a testament to the culture that you've built within that board of that's a standard behavior. That's an expected behavior that is not just for you, but for everybody else. But what else outside of posting?
So I think, again, you got to show them the culture, number one. Number two, first thing, my team, recruits for technical skills, or what I'm looking for is a fit for the culture. So if they get to me, that means the team really likes them, thinks they could be a good fit. They have the skill sets that they need. For me, it's about the culture fit. So my conversation with them is about growing, right? Their commitment to growth. It's about their passion for the organization. It's about LinkedIn. I look at their LinkedIns to see what they're doing. So I think, and also I think it's also about expanding where we are creating awareness, because we're very committed to diversity and inclusion and belonging, right? Belonging is the culture, but the diversity piece, the whole makeup of our team has changed drastically. But I think, hire slow, right? Fire fast. We do hire slow. We haven't figured out the fire fast part yet, but
I'm working on it.
We can talk about that another day. That actually is a whole topic, I think, and the courage and the commitment that it takes, right, to make sure that after you've recruited the right people, that you have the right people and you keep the right people, and you right, eliminate the people that are not the best fit. And sometimes we can be slow to do that.
I want to dive into that.
I want to jump in here. So this idea of recruiting, I think, is a mindset issue as well. people tend to recruit only when they need somebody.
Right.
It becomes much more difficult to find what you need when, and think about this, when you go shopping for something, it's really hard to find it because I'm looking for that one thing. If you shop all the time, you pick up pieces of things that, so my mantra always was add good people, have those people add value, and I'll find a home for them. I was entrepreneurial in that respect. Then you get LinkedIn, which LinkedIn is a recruiting tool. That's how it started. It started as a recruiting tool, but I think people expect LinkedIn to do all the work. One of the strategies we gave Brendan was, and we've talked to you about this, is when there's a need, pick 10 to 25 of the people you really know and say, could you do me a favor and share this with your network? Boom. Now you've got these new arteries of where you're not posting it and JA's not posting it. You're mining my data, to say who in my world might be a good fit for your organization. And, it goes back to that awareness thing. So I think it is a challenge. We spoke to Chris Taylor, who's the CEO in Boise, Idaho. I said, what keeps you up at night? He goes, we have 17 positions open. It's like, wow. It's they're a $50 million company, in 13 regions, but you missing 17 people. Mark, one of the things, that happened in college football was that when the season started, you had what you had, man.
You gotta have a
I
full
want to
roster.
add something too, though. It isn't just LinkedIn, and it isn't just the CEO, and it isn't just the HR person. It's everyone in the organization having a part in recruitment. If I love where I work, and I love the experience that I have, and I love the work that I do, and I love the company's purpose or mission, I'm going to share that. I'm going to recommend good people, right, come to the organization. So I think, and same thing with the board. The board knows a lot of people. We got 70 board members, right? Not only are they ambassadors in spreading the awareness, but they also have a circle of people that they know that are professionals. So that's why we put it out.
Well, if you look at Casey, here's a perfect example. Lori shared with me, I want to grow the biz dev side of the business. I knew Casey, who used to work for the Heats. Casey was looking for something. All I did was play matchmaker. I said, you guys should meet. I don't know what's going to happen. It's part of my culture. It's part of Matt DiGregorio's culture, is just keep introducing good people and good shit happens. So we need more of that. But it's a fascinating topic, because finding people who are willing to work, finding people that are willing to work for the pay that, jobs, then you move right into the remote thing. Like, there are some people who committed, like, I'm never going back to an office. I think that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
And you're missing out on so much if that's your take on it. Like, I agree, you shouldn't be mandated to go back to the office 5 days a week from 9 to 5. That's a ridiculous thing to ask people to do in today's world. But to say that you're not going to get together at any point, at any time, you're missing out on so much relationship building. You're missing out on so much creativity. You're missing out on so many opportunities that you really only get when you're in person. It doesn't mean that it should only be that way, but you still need that component to it. But I want to dig
Hey,
a
one
little
second.
Yeah.
Sorry. The power of the laws of attraction.
Just gonna say,
I've been saying to myself, where the hell is Jay Katari? Boom, and there's Jay Katari. I was like, where you been, bro, man? Thank you. It's good to see you.
yeah, and I want to comment on Jay Katari. That's why I was looking at it. It seems like a reasonable concept, but doesn't typically happen. It does. It does. If you keep at it and you
get what you coach.
Right. So it may not happen today, but I will tell you, it was not happening 8 years ago when I got to Jay. It wasn't happening 4 years ago. It might not have even been happening 2 years ago. But now that the movement has started, now it happens all the time. So
it's become a part of the culture, because you have talked about it consistently, and you haven't just talked about it, you have done it. Right. And that's the difference. That's the difference for every organization I was ever a part of. Eric Korm even talked about it, right? Being with a head coach that would talk about how the players should be doing all of these things to be these kind of humans, but wasn't actually doing it himself. It's the ultimate disconnect. You cannot, and this is where leadership starts. This is why leadership starts with you. You cannot ask people to do something you are not willing to do yourself.
Or show them the way, or actually show them the way, which is very significant, you know. So I want to pause here. I have unbelievable motivational music, and then we're getting into the words that people use to describe. And Lori and I do this almost every coaching call. I mean, literally, she goes, "They said this about me," and I go, "Good, man." But we'll be back. Here's Seal.
I was born by the river in a little tent, and oh, just like that river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come.
Woo!
So that song was changed in my mind forever when I watched the movie. It was Miami or whatever it was. It was about the night that Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, and Sam Cooke all came together before his title fight, and they called Sam Cooke out for the music he was singing.
A Night in Miami.
A Night in Miami. Thank you, Shay. And I don't know if this is a dramatized story or if it really happened, but the concept that this was a real inflection point for Sam Cooke's career, where he stepped away from traditional pop music and started talking about the struggle of growing up as a black man and putting that out through his platform. Phenomenal stuff.
So my point here is that there is a change going to come. I totally believe that music moves you, music teaches you. This is a rendition that, a remake that Seal did, but Lori, you were the one who posted about this, and this is very, very significant. The words that people use to describe female behavior versus male behavior, and I'll throw the first word out. The first word is aggressive, like, I want to hire aggressive men, but if somebody's an aggressive woman, they think bitch. Talk to me.
Yeah. So when I read this article, there were two executives, high-level executives in there who said, all right, I don't get it. I do my job, right? I get results. I might have a difference of opinion, but I'm professional and respectful. Why am I called bossy, aggressive, right? Intimidating, all those things. And Steve, you and I have talked about this. If a week goes by and I haven't heard something like that, I'm shocked. All right. So here's what I get. Oh my God, if you want something done, right, call Lori, but she could be a little aggressive. Oh, you know what? She gets results. She takes organizations to the next level, but she can be intimidating. I'm like, what the fuck?
So wait a minute. So this past week or last week, somebody called you tenacious and you took that negative. It wasn't necessarily
tenacious. No, actually, I said I'd rather they use the word tenacious than aggressive or bitchy or bossy or intimidating. And all I'm suggesting, and the article suggests, and the research shows, that we would never call a man bossy. We would not say he was aggressive. We might say he's an asshole, excuse my French, right? If he treats people like an asshole, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about someone who's got strong leadership skills, gets the job done, gets results, yet we see women in that role one way and we see men another. And here's the point I really want every woman on today's huddle to hear it comes more from other women sometimes than it does from men. And in the article, it says, maybe they're just not ready for you. It could be jealousy. It could be insecurity. They may not think they can live up to your talents or your expectations. It tends to come from other women. We got to stop.
So wait a minute, I'm going to add something. I'm going to add a little flavor. So when you talk about words and what they mean, one of our clients, Globe Life, Michelle Ballard, posted something about, she got her day started and she stopped for coffee, and someone said, "Hey, baby, sweetie, honey," like I'm offended when someone says to me, "Hey, honey," Helen is sitting right next to me. She goes, "Oh, I'll be right back, sweetie, honey, baby." I'm like, what the hell is that? So it's, the language, those are terms of endearment, and most people don't mean anything by it. My point is people got to start paying attention to what they say. I think male and female. Mark, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, we should pay attention to what we say, but we should pay attention to the way that we create the understanding of those words.
There you go.
In the home. Like, to me, this all comes back to how we raise our kids. This all comes back. We're not just born with these ideologies in our head. Everything is formed. Everything is conditioned in us. And so there are people who don't agree with whatever is said because they grew up in a different household. They grew up seeing it differently. My generation is one of the first generations to grow up with a large amount of single moms, right? There's always been single moms in the history of time. My generation is considered the divorce generation, where divorce became normal. And we all viewed our parents as equals. And that was probably the first time in the majority of the human race where the majority of kids were viewing their parents as equals and not in specific roles. So where it's and this is the problem with these studies, is that they're polling people that have been raised a certain way, that have lived in culture a certain amount of times. If you move back a little further, I would say that my generation doesn't necessarily agree with those numbers because we don't align that way. If you go to Jake's generation, it continues to move further and further away from that number. But we can't make the changes necessary unless we actively work against it. And so while I have natural tendencies to be like, oh, well, I'm the male, I should be the breadwinner, or my career should come first, or I have some of those urges, it's my responsibility as the father to Kai and to Jules to set the example, to say, no, you know what? I can look at my calendar and say, nothing today is an opportunity that's going to disappear if I don't do it today. I'll let Gabby take the lead today.
Look at Jay. Jay hits it right, man. Jay hits it right.
And we'll go to overtime.
Everybody's household is different. Like, this comes down to an individual preference. There are some women who would like to be home and raise the house and do those things. There are some women who want an equal opportunity in career. So I think we have to start looking at things through individual, cases, and not just blanket, hey, this is what everybody says and does.
Lori, bring us home. Close us out.
I do think that the way people grow up is one way, but I also do think, and I think it was Romy who said it earlier, or somebody said it earlier in the chat, there is a thing between about insecurity, jealousy. Those are real things, right? All I can do is say that that's going to continue to happen, right? Yeah. Because there are going to continue to be people, whether male or female, who are going to feel insecure and going to feel jealous of the success that you're having as a woman when you're a strong leader, right? Here's what I will say at the end of the day. Own it, right? Steve tells me this all the time. Own it. Say, you know what? Thank you, right? Those traits are what make me a strong leader. Those traits are what get shit done, right? As long as I am professional and respectful. And, Karina talks about women being abrupt and mean. It's how you say it. I'm not talking about somebody who's not nice.
That's rude. That's a big
rude,
difference.
and
right?
that's disrespectful. That's unprofessional. We're talking about people who are respectful and professional. That doesn't mean you're going to like what I say.
So
Don't
I
let
go
my
back to
confidence
this.
offend your insecurity.
I go back to this. We talk about this all the time for everybody. You need to be self-aware. You need to know how you're showing up. And if you're okay with showing up as strength does intimidate people. That's what, Dion said. Do not allow my confidence to affect your insecurities, man. I can't control that. That's on you. And so the power to live above that circumstance, I think, is what makes the best leaders. I know how I'm showing up. I know where my heart is, and I'm going forward with this human being because that's the best of me. That's why, Lori, you are who you are. And when you play the comparison game is where you really get in trouble because there's only one you. That's you. That's who you are. That's how you're driven. And I think there's so many people who love you and respect you for the person you are. It's fantastic. So,
well, thank you. But this isn't about me. So all you women, go to that post, share it, right? And tell everyone, right, that you own who you are. As Romy said, stay true. I wrote that in the article. Stay true to who you are, right? And just make sure that you're always being kind and empathetic. Doesn't mean you're not being authentic. Doesn't mean you're not being honest, but you're being at least kind and empathetic.
bang, bang, bang. Now it's time to get down.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get